Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, that as it is mentioned here, no one should be accepted as an avatar unless he is referred to by scriptures. So, in case of Buddha, that Buddha's explanation is here that so the followers of Buddha, they accept Buddha as a supreme and they follow whatever. They will not come to the, as you mentioned that Bhagavad Gita is the highly elevated, it is for highly elevated person.
Yeah, they will advance, but not to the same level as a person who understands Vedic principles.
So we can consider as that you mentioned sub-religious principles of, like in which full of morals.
Yes. I won't limit it to sub-religious principles, but there may be amongst them who go higher. If you get the right spirit of the teachings of Buddha, you can go higher. In one sense, we're devotees of Buddha also, because we offer prayers to him in the Dashavatar Stotra. We study his avatar in the Bhagavatam. So we're also. So it's not like being a follower or a student of Lord Buddha makes you necessarily sub-religious only. But by and large, it's a generalization. Okay?
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, when we go for preaching on behalf of the society, so people in general, so shall we start with moral things, or how do we preach?
Actually, we should preach by the example of Srila Prabhupada. Now, the way it breaks down to a very simple formula. That is, we without explaining, we chant Hare Krishna. Without explaining, we don't first explain. We don't first give a lecture. We engage in kirtan. Now, usually that is seen as, that we are very sentimental and very foolish. We don't have any philosophy, but that's okay. Because you see, that's a medicine. See, just like a doctor, what should he do when he goes into an area where everyone has got a plague, some disease? Without explaining, without lecturing about the philosophy of medicine, he does mass inoculations, Everyone, medicine, right? So we are like doctors going into an infected area. So what you want to first do is give medicine. That's the Hare Krishna Maharaj. When people are benefiting from the medicine, they're like coming out of their disease, then we should impart not sub-religious principles, but full Krishna consciousness. Now, unlike Lord Buddha, unlike Shankaracharya, who had to preach according to the people, Lord Chaitanya's method is a little different. It is, you give them the medicine, then they become eligible to understand Bhagavad Gita. And then you teach Bhagavad Gita. You see, Lord Chaitanya, that's why he's praised for this being very merciful. Because instead of explaining how you're suffering, he cures everybody. Now, generally, the funny thing about chanting Hare Krishna is, people are not coming to chant Hare Krishna because they want the medicine. They think it's funny, it's interesting, it's nice, good music, good tunes. But beneath that, the soul is awakened. The soul, he connects with the holy name. But outwardly it manifests in this very, non-serious form. It looks like it's not serious, but actually it's very serious. So we should bombard people with the holy name. Really, don't be shy. And then you should speak. You should speak. You should tell them some message from the Bhagavad Gita, not moral principles. Moral principles was for those who did not have Lord Chaitanya's mercy to give. We're in a more fortunate situation. So we should become very aware of. We're at a very privileged time. It's a great privilege and honor to be part of Lord Chaitanya Sankirtan. To give people Krishna consciousness directly, not indirectly. To give them religious principles, sub-religious principles, is to cheat them. Is to shortchange them. It's like giving them something ghatiya, like not good. It's like giving somebody second best. Give him the best. Tell him about Krishna. But through the holy name, and then explain when they purify. And Prabhupada showed it worked. He did it by example. He made it work. And it's not like only then. See, there is also a problem in our movement, thinking only then at that time and those people. That's not true. Because that's like saying Lord Chaitanya was lying. Lord Chaitanya said, Prithivite Ache Yata Nagar Adi Gram Sarvatra. Not Tompkins Square Park in 1965 only. Sarvatra Prachar Hoive Mara. Nagar Adi, everywhere, in every town, in every village. So there's a mistake to think only that time those people know. No, that's not true. You're defying the Supreme Personality of Godhead by saying that. And only Srila Prabhupada. No, again, otherwise why did Prabhupada send out? He didn't go out. He sent out his disciples. They did it. How did they do it? So this is the formula. You should chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra like anything. Don't be shy. Don't have mental concoctions. It's a medicine. Remember, it's a medicine. It's gone in the ear. The medicine is working. He can't take the medicine out now. It's gone. The process of injecting this medicine is the ear. He hears Hare Krishna, it's gone in. We should have the faith, though. We should have the understanding that is doing. So that requires good philosophy on our part. Because we know, as a doctor, he knows the medicine is working. So that's a very good formula. So don't give sub-religious principles. Don't. For a devotee in the Gaudiya, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, to give sub-religious principles is a great injustice. He should give pure Krishna consciousness. We should make it a rule that I will not mislead people just by telling them, oh, be truthful, be clean, be nice. We have something greater to offer. Thanks to the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. We should become conscious. So then when somebody has been benefited from the medicine, then you can explain. Sit down, sit down. Prabhupada did that. He said, okay, sit down. Listen. They're all still woozy and doozy, And then the other part of this giving the medicine is prasad. You see? So these things we should employ. The holy name, prasad, and sandwich. In between, we give them some philosophy. But the philosophy really requires a very elevated person, a person in Varnashram, a person like Arjuna, Aryan, very elevated. But they become elevated because you gave them the holy name. He becomes eligible. He wasn't eligible, but you just made him eligible. Is that okay?
And second, that Krishna appeared at Vishnu initially before Mother Devaki. So it appears like from Vishnu to Krishna. So is it that Krishna was showing his full opulence?
Yeah, there is a tendency to interpret this pastime that Krishna came from Lord Vishnu because Vishnu first appeared. But if you read very carefully, and this is why you have to be Sumedasa and not Alpamedasa. In the Bhagavatam, it clearly says he came as Lord Vishnu for one reason. Because Devaki and Vasudeva were Sutapa and Prishni in their previous life. At that time, Krishna came as their child, and it was in the form of Vishnu. So he showed them the same form. My dear mother, look at me. I'm the same one who was your son. He was known as Prishni Garbha. Sutapa and Prishni had a son. It was in the form of Krishna, in the form of 4 arms. So he showed that form first. Not that Krishna, Vishnu became Krishna, right? Misunderstand. That's why you need a teacher. And that's going to be in a few verses in this chapter. That you have to learn this from Tattva-darshan. Very interesting.
Prabhupada is mentioned in seventh shloka that, like Krishna says that I appear whenever there is a decline in religion, and every millennium, and Prabhupada mentions that in 28 Manus every. So it appears like we know that sun, it rises from east. We know that rules, they are abide by the rules of Lord. So it appears here that Krishna also.
Right,
and
but both, see, you didn't hear carefully. Both things happen. He comes by schedule, but also he comes by his sweet will whenever he wants. The schedule doesn't bind him. Unlike the sun, he can come at any time of day or night. It doesn't have to be the 28th millennium of the Manu. You see, anytime.
I heard Prabhupada giving example of sun. Somebody was saying that Krishna is Hindu god something, and Prabhupada said that Krishna is not, because as sun first rises in India, so it is not Indian sun. Later on it comes to west. So Krishna now has come to west. I have brought him. So be fortunate.
Okay, nice anecdote.
Prabhuji, I have a small quick question that as we have this personalism and impersonalism, that personalism that Krishna is the form is there, and impersonalism there is no form. So as I one time read, there's some sectarian, like they accept that Krishna is there, Ram is there, the God is there, everyone is there. Then finally they say that if you follow them, they will also become one of them. So is what kind of theory it is, I did not understand. So you will also become God. It is.
Yeah, I know there are these ideas out there, but what's your question?
My question is, in what it comes, whether it comes in personalism or impersonalism, just I confused.
No,
it's just a
It's
speculation.
not even impersonalism. This is offensive. This is atheism. Pashandi Dhruvam. He becomes an atheist who who tries to equate that any living entity can become God. He's not impersonalist. He's an atheist. He's an offender.
Hare Krishna. My question is from Bhagavatam. A lot of the incarnations of Krishna, usually they are invited by the Devas. Something wrong is happening, and the Devas will run to Vishnu and please help, and you come as Varaha, Vamana, Narasimha. So my question, actually this question was already answered by text 7, but I'm just wondering, Krishna's appearance, was there an internal reason, was there somebody invited him, just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here, he appeared because of the invitation of, the cry actually of Advaita Acharya.
In all of the Lord's appearances, there's always an internal reason. In fact, the killing of the demons we're going to discuss that in the next verse, next time. That he doesn't even have to personally come. It's for the internal reason he comes. So even though he came as Lord Nrsingadev, because the demigods wanted him to kill Hiranyakashipu, he actually came for Prahlad Maharaj. And if you read very carefully, he started coming to him before he killed Hiranyakashipu. He was already coming to him. Prahlad Maharaj used to laugh and cry because the Lord was already there with him. Hiranyakashipu saw him at that time when he was about to die, but Prahlad was already seeing him. So the Lord actually always comes for internal reasons. Always. So even though he came to lift up the Mandara hill in the churning of the ocean as a tortoise, but he wanted somebody to itch him. So basically he had all these crazy guys churning just to relieve him of his itching. So, but they're thinking he came for us. The Lord, everything is happening by his own sweet pastimes. But of course the demigods are welcome to think that he came for them. That's good.
He's sitting on top of the mountain.
Huh?
He's sitting on top of the mountain.
Yeah, he was sitting. Yeah. He was underneath and he was also on top. One more question. One more question was actually I wanted to ask this yesterday, but there was not enough time. This is regarding this verse in Bhagavad Gita, Evam Parampara Praptam Imam Rajasu Yuvidu Sakalena Mahata Yoga Nasta Parantapa. This is the ending part. The science as it is appears to be lost. So in the Vedas themselves glorify the Vedic literature, the potency of the Vedic literature so exalted in most, actually it is very important for civilization. So my question is, this doubt is in my mind, why did Vedas disappear, first of all? Is it because of the will of the Supreme Lord, or is it because of Kali Yuga? Because of the effect.
I believe you might not have been for that class when we discussed Evam Parampara Praptam, that particular verse. In it we were describing that there is different paramparas. Ours is a Bhagavad parampara, but the one described in the 4th chapter, 1st verse, 2nd verse, is the Bhagavad Gita parampara. In other words, that's not our parampara. Right? So there are paramparas for different kinds of knowledge in the Vedic umbrella. So the particular knowledge Krishna was giving to Arjuna appeared to be lost. That parampara. So he's saying, I'm now telling you. So The Vedic knowledge is not necessarily lost, but the parampara is. Is that okay? Yeah.
Here in this text 7, the last paragraph in the purport, it is explained that
Please put it
sometimes
closer.
sometimes he descends personally, and sometimes he sends his bona fide representative in the form of his son or servant, or himself in some disguised form. So what is the difference between in the form of his son or his servant? How to understand this?
Srila Prabhupada is referring to Jesus when he says his son, because in that particular line of religion, they emphasize the word son so much. So much. It's like overriding, overbearing. So he has included it. Now, if you look at the different categories of incarnations, one of them is not called a son. But Prabhupada is generously including that within the list. Because everyone is a son actually. Mamai Vangsha Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta. But he wants to be all inclusive and address this particular religious group so that they can understand. Yes, he will come himself or send his intimate devotee who claims to be my son. No problem. But what some of them didn't like is he said, well, you're also son. Some or other they like to feel only he is the only son. What are you? See, that's called sub-religious principles. Don't have the capacity to understand. Stuck with that one idea. One son. Prabhupada said, you have 10 sons. God, only one? In all time, only one? Never more? No. It just doesn't have any basis. So he's generously including, okay, son also, servant. The category actually is Shakti Avesh Avatar. A devotee who's empowered with the specific potency of the Lord to do a function for the Lord. So Lord Jesus did that. That's good. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki.